I would appreciate that. So please, if we have any question, let's just drop it on the group chats, and Judith will attend to all of them. So Judith, everybody is eager to hear from you, the benefit of studying in France. If there's any opportunity for them to stay back, the tuition, everything, they are ready to hear from you. Okay. So it's better they hear directly from the horse's mouth. Thank you. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Yabo. So hi guys, bonjour. Thank you so much for being here, and sorry about being late. I was in traffic. There's not much traffic in Montpellier. It's not like in Nigeria, but still I was a little bit late. So sorry about this. So I'm happy to introduce myself. I'm Juliette. I'm in charge of representing Montpellier Business School. I'm an alumni of the school as well. I did the Master in Management in 2015. And now I'm in charge of Africa for the recruitment since it's been now 3 years. I've been working in school. So I will share with you a presentation so that you can see more about the school. Please let me know if you can see the screen. Yabo, if you can tell me. I think you can. Okay. So here you can see a picture of the school. So the school is quite medium size. It's about 3,000 students from different places in the world. So first, as a Nigerian student, it might not be easy for you to choose France because you might think I don't speak the language at all. Please note that it's important for you to differentiate yourself. Nigeria is surrounded by French-speaking countries except for Ghana, but all of the other countries surrounding Nigeria are actually French-speaking. So why France? Why differentiating yourself? First, the quality of higher education is adapted to students' needs. So having a French degree is recognized at an international scale, not just in France or Europe, but also in all the countries in the world, including in Nigeria. Also, France is a world-class economic power, and you have a lot of advanced industries that are very international, that are French. You also have some in Nigeria, I know about this. Also French, do you speak French? Parlez-vous français? So the idea for you is to learn French when you come here. You can actually learn courses in English, but the idea is that you actually learn some French as well when you're here. You will have some French courses, mandatory or not, depending on the program you wish to follow, that are included in the program. And I strongly suggest that you take those courses. Also, France is a very nice country to live in. You have a lot of places to go to. It's in the heart of Europe, and you have a certain art of living French style. And also France is an appealing destination for international students. So a lot of students choose France, even if they don't speak the language. We have some Nigerian, we have some people from different countries. They come and not speaking the language, but they still are curious about France, and they choose France because they know they're going to meet so many people from different places in the world as well. So as a Nigerian student coming to France, you have all those advantages and also the possibility to stay back up to 1 year to look for a job. So Montpellier Business School is a business school, so you'll be studying all the sciences of management. What do you study in a business school? So in France, we have about 200 business schools. It's in the private sector. And then we have the universities, but in the university, you mainly have courses in French. So if you don't speak French, it's complicated for you to follow courses, of course. In France, you have approximately what we call Grande École. Grande École, which is a grand école that you can see here, is like the Ivy League for France, but well, it's French. You have about 39 Grande Écoles, which means big school. What does that mean to do a Grande École? It means that it's prestigious, it's part of the top schools in France, and you have the stay back option, like I said, up to 1 year after you graduate. So among the topics that you'll be studying in a business school, it's not going to be theoretical like you might find in university. You will have courses that are very practical, relevant for the business world that you're going to be joining after. So courses that are more related to numbers like accounting, finance, controlling management, but also qualitative topics like human resources, supply chain, marketing, project management, soft skills, international business. So here I put a picture of a toolbox, meaning that a Grande École, a business school, is like a toolbox that is going to help you entering the professional world after. So we are going to be giving you all the tools, and the topics that you'll be studying will be useful for the professional world after. So when you come to France, you're not just going to meet French people. You're going to meet people from different places in the world. For instance, you're going to benefit the international atmosphere. In Montpellier Business School, for instance, we have approximately 3,000 students, and 1/3 is international, meaning 1,000. So we have about 70 nationalities represented, all the continents. We have Africa, Europe, Americas, Asia, and Australia. So we have different continents represented. In Montpellier, which is actually the name of the city we are in, we have about 1 out of 7 students who is international. Also, you have a very big diversity in the city and in the School of Montpellier, and the possibility of exchange programs and double degree on demand. What business school offers you in Montpellier Business School? You have professional opportunities. So we prepare you for the professional world. You're going to have a lot of workshops, interview simulations, one-to-one meeting. The idea is that you get orientation that you need to be able to work for the professional world after. Then we also have relationship with companies. So we help you through conferences, internships. We have the board of corporate directors of big companies that are involved in the strategy of the school. Also, during the school, you will have relevant academic projects. For instance, when I was a student, what I liked is that we have courses, but also a lot of case studies where we have big companies coming or smaller companies coming to share their experience. And we had to do some games to implement the strategy and all. So we had business games and serious games. Like I said, when you come to France in general and in Montpellier Business School as well, you get the permit to stay up to 1 year after you graduate to look for a job, meaning that when you graduate, if your graduation is in March, you get up to 1 year to look for a job. And then once you have this job, you will have to do the paperwork with the company itself. And joining Montpellier Business School is also joining a network of 18,000 alumni around the world to build an international network. So I don't know if some of you have been to France before. For your information, I'm French. So I'm from the region of Montpellier, which is the city I live in right now, which is the city of the school. When we have international students, I will suggest that they choose that are human. Okay. So I suggest that you choose cities that are very human-sized, like lower than Lagos or Abuja, maybe. Montpellier, for instance, it's the 8th largest city in France, and it's #1 for its quality of life. It's also very well located. For those who have been to France, if you locate Paris, which is in the north, Montpellier is in the south of France. Being in the south of France, it means having a very nice quality of life. You have a nice weather. Today is very hot, for instance. Montpellier is also #1 for its quality of life and in the top 3 of French cities to study, the best top cities. We also have a Mediterranean climate and lifestyle and 300 days of sun. So it's not the same hot warmness than in Nigeria, where it's quite humid sometimes, but it's still a dry, nice weather during the summer. And Montpellier is also up to 40% cheaper than Paris. Montpellier is also a very nice city to study. You have a nice student atmosphere with about 110,000 students. One out of 7 is international. So cost of living in Montpellier is about 650 euros. Into that, you have to count that in France, social security is free, especially when you're a student. And you can get up to 100 euros discounted on your housing rent. Because if you're a student in France, they give financial help for the housing. So Montpellier Business School also has a very big and good reputation. The school is born in 1897, so it's been now 123 years. In terms of ranking, we are in the top 55 in the Financial Times for a Master in Management, and the top 10 for marketing and finance programs in France. And we are ranked in the top 50, top 100 programs in the world. Also, the school is what we call accredited, meaning that we have like stars in the education system, ICSB, IMB, and EQUIS. Those accreditations enable us to show the quality of the school, this excellence academic that we have. And also the professors that we have, they publish a lot of papers, they have a certain expertise and the knowledge in the field. So what is our role here with the IABO, who is our partner in Nigeria? We help the students defining their professional project. We'll be helping you to apply. Everything is online. Then we'll be helping you with our department to help you with the visa obtention, to explain. When the students wish to come to France, they have to go first through the process of the school of admission. And when they are accepted to the school, meaning that we wish they are accepted, they'll be asked to pay a deposit of 2,000 euros, and the rest can be paid up to 8 times. Those 3,000 euros, which is the deposit, enable you to get the letters of acceptance and pre-enrollment, and to go to get your letters at Campus France and the consulate. Campus France is an organization that is in Nigeria and everywhere else in the world, and all the students have to go through Campus France to be able to do the visa procedure. And when you come to France, you will get an orientation seminar as well. So we help you from A to Z. You're never alone. I'm usually your main contact if you don't have a representative in Nigeria. Here you have a representative, so IABO will be your main contact, but of course I'm available for any questions you have. So we have several programs. We have the undergraduate program and the postgraduate program. So undergrad, we have the Bachelor of International Business Administration, which is a 3-year program. Then we have the Master in Management, and then the Master of Science. Usually the students who have already a bachelor degree of 4 years in Nigeria, they will go for our Master of Science, which is the last program that you can see in pink here. It's a specialization in several topics like marketing, finance, business excellence, international business, and digital transformation. So we have undergraduate program, which is quite general. The Master in Management is a 2-year program with the first year general and second year you specialize. And then the Master of Science, which is a specialization directly. So bachelor program is a general program in international business administration. It's a 3-year program. You have to know that in France, bachelors are 3 years. They're not 4 years like in certain countries like England or the US. So it's a 3-year program. You have 1.5 years in Montpellier Business School, and then the rest of the 1.5 years, you can either do an internship or do a semester abroad or stay in Montpellier Business School. And then the last year, you can either stay in Montpellier and do an internship, stay in Montpellier and do a stay again in Montpellier, or you can do the entire year as an exchange program. So here you can see it's 3 years, including 1.5 years, 1.5 years. So the first 1.5 years is general. The second 1.5 years, you get the chance to do internship and professional experiences before you graduate. Usually what I would suggest to students who come after high school or who wish to do another bachelor, they will go for a 1.5 years in Montpellier Business School, and the rest of the 1.5 years, maybe an internship in France, because if you are in France, the idea is that you get to do an experience in France as well, and then continue with the professional experience in France as well. So for tuition fees here, you can see each year is 10,900 euros for each year. Then you have the Grande École program, which is the Master in Management. So it's a 2-year program. I'm an alumni of this program. So it's a first year that is general. It's master first year. And then the second year, that is a specialization. Usually students will specialize in one of our Master of Sciences because it's a double degree possibilities. Or some students will choose to do the first semester specializing and the second semester doing an internship. So it's a 2-year program. 12,500 euros the first year, 2,500 euros the second year. For the last program, you have the Master of Science. So we have 5 programs that enable you to specialize yourself. So because of the COVID situation and all, instead of starting in September, they'll be starting in November until mid-January for the beginning of the first semester online. Then from January to May, you'll be in class in Montpellier. And then from June to December, you get the chance to do a professional experience abroad. So for the tuition fees of this program, it's 13,900 euros for the entire program. Usually this program is quite popular among international students because it's all in English. All the other programs as well, but this one is quite specialized and popular among our students. You have several areas. You have finance, marketing, digital transformation, business excellence, and international business. So when we see, for instance, a bachelor degree in engineering from a university in Nigeria or from a private school, then we can advise them what type of program they wish to choose, depending on their profile. For instance, someone in engineering might want something more general. We will advise international business. Someone who did like a Bachelor of Economics, I might suggest finance because they're good at numbers. It depends on the profile that we get. So among the different programs of Master of Science, you have the one in finance with a specialization the second semester. The one in marketing, same with the specialization the second semester. Same for digital transformation with a specialization the second semester. Business excellence, lean operations management and supply chain. And the last one in international business. So we have all those specialization available for the Master of Science. We will have a webinar that is quite special on July 1st about the Master of Science with the Dean of Master of Science. So if you're interested, let us know. We'll be happy to invite you to this webinar. And then I will finish with the admission process. So you have to know that because of the agreement we have with the IABO, all the admission fees, instead of 90 euros, are free. So you go with the IABO and then she will let us know the name of the student. We will waive the application fees instead of 90 euros. So for the Bachelor and Master in Management, the entire process is a process online. So first the applications documents, we'll be asking the resume, the transcripts of the 3 last years, the higher degree. You will need to take an English test even if you're from Nigeria for this program. Same for the Master in Management. You'll be taking reasoning and analytical skills test, then an English test online, and the last step will be interview video recording. So for the entire process, usually it's between 3 to 4 weeks, depending on how fast you are in taking the test and putting all the documents. On our side, we are very reactive. And for the Master of Science, you won't need to take an English test because you're from Nigeria, from an English-speaking countries. So you will first have the applications documents, transcripts, higher degree, and the resume in English. And then the last step will be an interview pre-recorded. So to explain what is the pre-recorded video, you're going to receive several links on your email, and the link you'll be clicking and you'll have like a video saying, can you please introduce yourself? So you'll be introducing yourself. Then why did you choose France? I chose France because blah, blah, blah. And you will have for this pre-recorded video, 1 minute 30 for each question. So you have about 10 questions. And those questions are changing all the time, but usually we're trying to get to know you, getting to know why you're coming to France and to Montpellier Business School, if you know something about the programs, and then understand who you are, like if you did a group project or if you did something that is quite interesting, please let us know during this interview. I'm done with the presentation, so now we'll just take the questions if you have. So to answer the question of Adepeju, hi, I don't know if I pronounce your name right, sorry about this. So yes, courses are offered in English or French, but yes, courses are offered in English, and what's the strength here is that you can study in English while living in France. For instance, I have some Nigerian students who came to France to study everything in English, for instance, their Master of Science, and they are learning some French. They're not fluent yet, but I think they're getting there because they're doing an internship in France and all. Another question, can graduate of science discipline apply for any of these programs? So yes, we don't have any frontier among the programs that you have. We will check still with you what type of programs you're interested in, but other than that, yes, you can apply to that type of program, whatever your background. Just for your information, depending on what kind of science background you have, we will check which program is more suitable for you. For instance, someone who did literature before, I will not validate their application for a Master of Science in Finance because usually you're not really keen on numbers, and for the Master of Science, you need to be keen on numbers. But someone with a science degree or engineering, they can usually go in sectors like finance, economics, and all. So yeah, no plain science. Okay, so yes, you can also apply to our programs. The best will be to see with IABO what type of programs you're looking for, and then we can see what could be suitable for you. Make sure that you know that this is a business school, so everything is related to business. So we have a question from Jerry. Are there scholarships available? And if yes, how can I qualify? So we have this question, and it's true, I forgot to mention this. because I knew I will have it. So we have scholarship up to 2,000 euros. So there are grants on tuition fees depending on admissions results. So we will be looking at your resume, transcripts of the 3 last years. We'll be looking at several, well, the grade that you get to the different tests and the grade that you get to the interview. We'll be doing an average of all of this. And then if you have a good, very good grade, you can get up to 2,000 euros. Please note that those scholarships run very fast because we have excellent students and applications have been opened since October. So now it's mid-June. We have 2 months left to apply, but it's we still have some applications, but we don't have many left. So it's also depends. Also, when you come to Montpellier Business School, when you are admitted, if you are admitted, of course, we'll be asking you a deposit of 3,000 euros, and the rest can be paid in installments, up to 8 installments, meaning that when you go to do your visa procedure, they're not going to ask you if you paid fully the tuition fees. It's not because you haven't paid all the tuition fees that you cannot come to France. You'll be asked to pay the rest of the tuition fees when you come. So for the tuition fees, depending on the program, for the bachelor is 10,900 euros per year for a 3-year program. For the master in management, it's 12,500 euros per year and it's a 2-year program. And the master of science is 13,900 and it's a 14 to 16-month program.
Okay, thank you so much, Judith.
Sure.
But I would also like you to explain to our listeners what you mean by free social security.
Okay.
1.
Yes.
Then do you have any age limit for your undergraduate program?
Okay.
Then there are times we have some students, maybe they want to come for their masters, and some of those people are married with children. Can they resume or come around to France with their children if we have such students? So okay. It's better they hear all this from you.
Sure. Then thank you for the question. So first question is about, I forgot, the age limit. No, the
first question is what you mean by free social security.
Yeah, the social security, I was thinking about the marriage thing. So first, in France, we have a nice social security system that is very good, meaning that when you're a student, you'll be asked to pay first, and it's for all the students, something called CEVEC, and it costs like 90 euros for the entire year. And then you are covered for the entire year as a student, meaning that when you go to see a doctor, you'll be able to go see the doctor, you'll be paying the consultation, but then it's reimbursed, it's automatic. So in France, we have a very good healthcare system that is very attractive for students, but also for people like who are working already. And you get the chance to pay just a little part of your consultation and it will be reimbursed. So that's what I mean by social security for free, is that when you're a student, you are covered for the entire year with the student status. And if you are ill, I don't wish that for you, but if you have to go like to the dentist or to the doctor or something like to healthcare, you get, I mean, basic healthcare. I don't mean like surgery and all. Well, some surgery are fine, but most of the basic healthcare, you can get that for free. That's what I meant. Then
okay.
The next question was about
the age limits for application, especially your undergraduate programs. Is there any age limits?
So we don't have age limits, but I would like to be honest, for the bachelor degree in France, usually the students are between 18 to 22, 23, 24, I think, pretty much. So I know some students may come later, they might be older than that. Some students we had for the bachelor degree and they were 40. It's not that it didn't work, but it was not matching that well. So it's okay if you are older than 24, for instance. We just want to inform you that you will be with students with that age and that maturity.
Okay, you mean a 40 years old can apply for your undergraduate program, and yes. Okay, you might not be able to answer this. When it comes to visas for students in France, what do you have to say about that? Because these are some questions we get to hear from students. So I think it's better they hear from you. than from me.
Sure, it's difficult. For instance, I have a case, a Nigerian person, she's 40 or something like this. She has 2 kids and she's married. That was honestly not the best situation, not the best case when you go to Campus France to defend the fact that you want to come France to study. It will look more like an immigration or whatever this is than someone who's to their project. So it's honestly quite complicated. I'm going to put the mute. But still, it's possible for you. But honestly, when you go to Campus France, you have an interview with the officer of Campus France, which is like the person that you have to share your project of studies with. And you have to let them know, yes, I'm coming to study with I'm 40 years old, but I want to do a bachelor. They will ask you why. You're not the perfect profile for them. Usually someone for a bachelor, we prefer that they are like younger. Not that we don't like older people, but still, same for the master. Usually people have between 2 to 10 years of experience. They might be up to 35 years old. Then when someone is, we had that case, we had some people who were like 45, but it didn't really match well with the professors, for instance. They were like questioning the authority of the professor and all. So I'm not a big fan of people with that type of profile for Campus France after. I understand that some people want to go back studying, but I would suggest they go for executive programs or programs that are developed for them. We don't have that in the school, but I would not suggest them if you are like, if you have 15 years of experience and want to do a bachelor at Montpellier Business School, this is not the school I would suggest, honestly.
Okay. Now the other question was, how possible is it for students, married students, maybe they want to come from for their masters, and how possible is it for them to come with their children, especially those with lower small?
Yes, we had that case this year, no, last year. It's a person, she was working for a French company in Nigeria. She came for last year of bachelor. She has she has like 15 years of experience. She said she didn't mind the fact that she will be with the very young students compared to her. And in terms of academic, it was okay. But honestly, I've seen her in the integration. She has kids. The kids were able to come. The husband couldn't come, so it was quite difficult for her. But the kids were able to go to school in France, but it was difficult for the kids to adapt because they don't speak French, and in school, well, the schools are in French. So, I mean, it's a different type of visa that will be able to come. The person studying will be coming with a student visa, but the rest of the family, this is a case that they have to check directly with the consulate. But
okay,
we had that.
Okay. Then one other thing is you've not really explained or made them understand, you know, quite a number of students want to know if they can work while studying. What is the average salary they can earn per hour? How can they stay back legally after being, you know,
Yeah.
for students to really commit so much funds like that, it's not easy to drop 12,000 euros as tuition, and not, you understand, and not have investment or returns, you know. So how do our students get access to all this that I just asked? How can they stay back legally?
In France, legally, you can work up to 20 hours a week. So some students do it. Again, this is not forbidden because it's legal. And the salary average, well, the minimum salary for like waitress job or bartender or things like a job, that'll be up 10 euros an hour. But like in Nigeria, for instance, I wouldn't suggest a Nigerian person to come thinking that they're going to be working and studying at the same time, because first, during the visa procedure, it's going to be complicated to explain, because usually when you go for the visa procedure, they'll be asking you what kind of financial funding you have. If you just say, I will find a job there, this is not going to be convincing, honestly. But yes, you can work and study at the same time, but if you don't speak a word of French, most of the jobs are in French when you want to do waitressing or bartending and all. So I would first suggest that you focus on learning and improving French. And well, a few months after, then yes, I think you can work and study at the same time. Legally, you can anyway, but I suggest that you first work on your French and on your degree also. Then the possibility of stay back, yes, you have up to 1 year where you can.
I don't want to hear anything. Get out.
You,
Oh my God.
I'm going to be okay. You can stay up to 1 year after you graduate in France in general to look for a job. So meaning I'm an MSc student, I'm Nigerian, I'm looking for an opportunity in France. Usually it will be Paris because this is the capital. I'm legally allowed to stay in France to look for a job for 1 year. Usually students don't take a year to look for a job and then they can find a job, for instance, in Paris or wherever they can. And then the visa changes, meaning that first when they come, they are with the student visa because they are students from Montpellier Business School or wherever the school. Then after they graduate, they have another type of visa called APS that enable them to stay up to 1 year. So they don't have the student visa, but they don't have either the work permit visa. It's more like a authorization to stay legally. And then when they find a job, it will be up to the company to look for jobs. Usually students from abroad, they will go for international companies anyway, because we know that if you don't have the level of French, you're not going for a French position. You're in competition with French people. So if you don't speak a word of French, this is not going to work. But usually students will go for international companies. Last week we had the webinar about an alumni who speaks very good English and French. She's working for Capgemini, which is a consultant company. And most of the people there are English speakers. So she's one of the only who speaks French.
Okay, I have a question here. So my question is this: in the wake of this global protest, you know, on Black Lives Matter all across the world, you know, the issue of racism when it comes to schooling abroad is quite a genuine issue that most parents, guardians, and students take very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is this: how is racism in your catchment? Because yeah, I know that racism is quite a global thing. In some parts of the world, it is more pronounced. In other parts of the world, it is not as pronounced. Okay, but what would you say racism is in your part of the world? Would I have reasons to have racial concerns when I come, or if I have someone to refer? Would they have reasons to fear for racism? You know, because if you have followed the trends of the protests in US, UK,
Yeah.
and other parts of the world, one will be prone to ask some of these questions and have this concern.
Sure.
So what's your response?
Okay, thank you for your question. So I didn't expect this one. I thought it would be about the COVID, but hey, we also have Black Lives Matter happening. So in France, you know that France colonized a lot of countries of Africa. So it's very common to see some African countries that were colonized to come to France. It's the immigrants. For instance, my parents are from Madagascar. That's why I'm not white. So you have people from different places of the world coming to France. Honestly, to me, France, I'm not saying that it's not racist because you have racism everywhere, unfortunately, but France is a land welcoming people. So you will see people from different places of the world, especially in cities. If you choose your city, I would suggest that you choose a city that is student oriented, like Montpellier, of course. You have Toulouse, Lyon. I mean, you have some cities that are very student oriented. What does that mean? It means that you have a lot of international students. So in Montpellier, honestly, it's very common to see people from different places. So you'll see Christian, Muslims, you'll see people of all the colors, you'll see Asian, Indians, people from countries of Africa, European, Latin American, America. So in Montpellier and in the cities I mentioned before, in Paris as well, but I wouldn't suggest Paris because it's too big for students. It's very diverse. I'm not saying this because I'm promoting the school, I mean it. You have some regions of France that are more conservative, if I can say that, but in Montpellier, Toulouse, Lyon, Rennes, where you have most of the business schools actually and all the other schools implanted. Usually we all implant in the same cities because it's student oriented. And here, those cities are looking to have more international people coming. So it's honestly very common to see Black people in the streets in Montpellier, especially in certain neighborhoods, because we know there is the University of Sciences and you have all the people from whatever the country, they come to study tropical sciences. So we know it's not going to be Europeans studying tropical sciences. So depending on the type of school as well, you'll see people from different places. But for instance, at the school, we have about 70 nationalities. The African continent is well represented. Usually it's mainly people from French-speaking countries like Senegal, Ivory Coast, well, Morocco, Tunisia, and Cameroon. But then we also have people from Ghana or Nigeria coming, Kenya. I mean, it's very diverse, and we have people from different places of the world as well. But I understand your concern. In Montpellier, also, it's very welcoming people. For instance, for the little story, it's the first city that celebrated the first gay marriage. So they're very open-minded, if I can say that.
Wow. Okay, another question here. As you would know, that Nigeria is an Anglophone country. Now, coming to France to study, even if the language of instruction in the classroom is the English language, you know, to be able to integrate properly into the community where you find yourself, one would need, you know, to learn French, even if it were not made mandatory.
Yes.
So, does your school have a program to help prospective students who would want to learn French to do so without additional cost?
Sure. So yeah, I mentioned that, but very fast, it's true. Thank you for your questions. So in Montpellier Business School, when we have an international student coming, they have up to 27 hours of French of welcoming package. So you usually, I'm not talking about the COVID situation here because it's changed a lot of things, but they're still trying to maintain this. We want you to have the basic of French when you arrive. So you have seminars about how it works to be in France, like open a bank account, transportation card, housing help, how does that work, which doctor I can see that speaks English, etc., etc., how to settle well. And you're also going to have 27 hours of French, mandatory, except if you're coming from a French-speaking countries, of course, but otherwise you will have among your, it will be ranked by level, but you will have French courses. And then along the year, for all the programs, you will have French courses mandatory as well. So you should be able to improve your French. I'm not saying that from now you're beginner, you're going to be fluent in 2 months, of course, but still you're going to be improving, I think, your French if you're making the effort first to work on your classes, because some students, sometimes they just think, oh, it's French, whatever, I'm not going to the class, which is a shame because it's already in your course, in your syllabus, so it's a shame. And then you have the student life being in France. You get the chance to see some French people. I mean, if you go, for instance, we have some people from Nigeria that we invite to church because it's a French-speaking church, but we have people from all countries from Africa and all. So, I mean, it's also good to integrate yourself. And the sports club, I mean, you have a lot of ways to integrate like you will have in Nigeria. But yes, when you come to France, you have 27 hours of French included in your first weeks of integration. Then you start class. And then during the rest of the year, you have French courses.
Okay.
Okay. But then it's, for instance, we have an intern here from India in our team. He didn't really improve his French, and it's a shame because he didn't really make the effort, and he knows it. It's been 2 years he's been here now. He just knows the basics. But I've seen some Nigerian people who became my friend, and they improved their French really well. They learned a little bit of words in Nigeria, but then they really made the effort to integrate themselves. Like when you go grocery shopping and all, you're still trying. It's like if I go to, I don't know, well, whatever the country, and I'm trying to learn some words. I'm not saying that I'm fluent, but still it's nice to show that you're showing some interest for the culture, which is also why you're choosing France, because otherwise you will go to the US or you go to the UK or Australia. It's the easier, if I can say that, way, even if you're getting out of your comfort zone because you live in a country. But coming to France, for instance, we know it's a different step, but it shows that you are able to get out of your comfort zone, I think.
Okay, do we have any more questions?
I think I have one final question.
Sure.
Okay.
One final question.
No worries.
So, with this COVID-19, I'm sorry I joined late. So I don't know if you have touched on this area, but all the same, let me ask, with this COVID-19, do you have new phase to your studies beside the conventional online classes? Are there new immigration rules? What are the things to expect in light of the global pandemic?
Okay, so this is the question I expected more than the Black Lives Matter. So thank you. So in terms of COVID-19, we are living a day by day. So the school, like most of the school, they put, we just have one intake. Usually it's in September. So here the intakes have been postponed later in the year. For instance, for the bachelor and master in management, it's until it starts beginning of November. No, online from September, October, and then beginning of November on campus. And for the MSc, so the Master of Science, it's from November to mid-January online, and then you'll be in class in Montpellier Business School. So we don't have online options for the entire year because this is not the will of the school. We'd rather you to come on campus whenever it's possible. Then among the immigration laws, we just found out this weekend from Campus France, which is the organization I mentioned that works with the government. It's official information I'm giving you here, is that they're opening the frontiers. So in France, but then it depends on your country. So in France, we are open, but if Nigeria doesn't enable you to come, I mean, it's you can come, but no, you cannot travel, but you could be still here. I don't know if it's clear. And there is a priority, for students who wish to come to France for the visa procedures and all, as they were closed until right now. Now they're opening visa procedures for students, and now it's they will handle international students in priority. And then we're living day by day. So this is something we heard this weekend, but we know it's going to change anyway, and maybe for the better, hopefully.
Okay, thank you, Judith. We had somebody that joined us late, and though you've answered this question, but I want her to hear herself. And the question is it possible to study in France with younger children? Okay. What is the visa application like? She means the requirements. So I think she's online, so it's better.
Okay, so thank you. For the visa procedures, just for yourself, meaning as a student, you will be, well, they'll be asking the transcripts, the original, the higher degree. They'll be looking at your letters of acceptance and pre-enrollment of the institution you're going to, for instance, ours. Then there is another part that we are not checking, which is mainly the financial part. So they'll be needing to make sure that you can afford to live in France, because I mean, depending on when you're from, in Nigeria, but some destinations in France are more expensive than living in Nigeria. For instance, in Montpellier, which is the name of the city I'm based in and where the school is, they're asking minimum 650 euros per month. So you need to show your financial records of the last month, showing that you are able to finance a life in France with at least 650 euros per month each month. Then if you have kids, it's a different type of visa you're going to ask for your kids. It's not going to be the student visa. You're going to have to go to the consulate or even to ask Campus France. I will mention that here, to ask them about the requirements, because I'm honestly not familiar, and we're not helping with this type of procedure. We're helping with the visa, student visa, but the rest, it's usually the students who go directly to ask Campus France.
Okay, thank you so much, Judith. Please, do we have any more questions? Because Judy would have to leave us anytime from now. And like she said, if you are interested in studying in Montpellier Business School, they gave us, that's the Edu-Consult was giving an application fee waiver. That is, if you come through us, you wouldn't have to pay application fee. We'll submit your applications and all that. Judy, can you please mute?
Yes.
Person? Yeah, thank you. So we've been given an application fee waiver, and this is just to help encourage applications from Nigeria and from us. And I believe all questions have been answered. And in case we still have any question, you can always reach out to me on the platform. We would answer all your questions and try to make everything as clear as possible. So I feel that with this, with Judy coming on board, a lot of myths or wrong information might have been cleared off our memories, you know. So you can also study in France, work, and at the same time, work towards staying back in France legally. There's no offense. It's just that you have to go through the normal process. So this is what we encourage than going to another man's country in the illegal way. So if you're interested in studying in Montpellier Business School, you can always chat us up on the platform or chat up any of the admins on the platform, and we'll be glad to reach out to you. Judith, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And we really appreciate your time. Thank you for your time. Thank you for at least trying to make up, you know, and we hope to have as much applications to the school for now. So kindly help us share the recording so we can put it on the platform, because I know some people, because the lockdown has been eased,